Welcome to Inside OTHM, the podcast where we go behind the scenes, inside the ideas, and into the impact shaping OTHM today. This is Inside OTHM. Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Inside OTHM, a podcast focusing on education, opportunity, and how OTHM qualifications can open doors to real career progression no matter where you are in the world. Over the coming episodes, we'll be exploring how education is evolving, what learners and employers really need today, what are the benefits of becoming an OTHM approved centre, and how internationally recognised qualifications can bridge the gap between ambition and achievement. And because this is our very first episode, it felt right to start by answering a simple question. Who is OTHM and why do we exist? And to help us with that, I'm joined today by Patricia Land, our COO, who plays a central role in how the organisation operates day to day, from quality and standards to global partnerships and long-term strategy. Welcome to Patricia.
Hi, Tom. Thank you for asking me to join you in this. We're excited to have this new series and new opportunities to explore and explain who we are and what we do.
It's a pleasure to have you. So I guess there's no better way to start than just getting stuck in, really. So for those who may not be familiar with OTHM, could you just give us a bit of an explanation about who we are?
Yeah, absolutely. So OTHM is an awarding body. We're regulated by Ofqual, which is the UK government's body for qualification regulation. We're very long in the tooth. We are actually over 20 years old. But when we originally started, we were associated just with tourism and hospitality. But over the last 12 plus years, we've evolved into a more broader organisation that actually enables lots of different qualifications, including a bit of tourism and hospitality, but largely business, leadership, management, and various different sectors. So we don't teach our own qualifications. We're a certification body. So we make sure that when students get their certificate from us, that they've met all the criteria for the qualification, and that actually we're confident and they're confident that that certificate is something that's to be valued for the rest of their lives.
Well, that's fantastic. And you mentioned about Ofqual regulation. Why is that so important today, and what does that provide education institutions and learners?
Yeah, it's a good question. So the whole point of having Ofqual regulation is to be able to ensure the standards and the integrity of the qualification that our students are studying. If we don't have regulation, then it's a little bit of a free-for-all. We can't be sure of the standards. We can't be sure of the quality. We can't be sure that you've actually studied a qualification that has currency and that will stand you in good stead. So Ofqual ensures that we meet those regulations. And in so doing, and we're very strictly audited by Ofqual, and in so doing, if we meet it, therefore we can support our centres to meet their obligations, and then the student, which is the end point, gets a certificate that they can trust.
Wonderful. And just to go on to the qualifications themselves, could you just give us a brief overview of some of the topics that are available to learners? I know that recently that there has been an expansion for BT therapy and airline, airport and aviation management, but there is quite a variety of other subjects that they can study as well.
Absolutely. We've got over 100 qualifications. I think at the last count, it was something like 103. So I may not remember them all. But largely our qualifications are business, leadership and management related, as I said earlier. And they range from anything from foundation level 3 all the way up to level 7 and even level 8, which at the top end are equivalent of kind of like a PGD type of thing, or even a pre-doctorate qualification. So we have the whole range. The kind of sectors that we cover, as I say, business, leadership, management, but within that business suite, we do things like accounting and finance, logistics, human resource management, and tourism and hospitality. But you are right to say that we have actually broadened out. So we've got quite a few new qualifications into the IT sector, AI, and very recently, hot off the press, we've got beauty therapy suite of qualifications, which includes aesthetics, and we've got aviation management too. So we're always listening to what our partners, stakeholders, and students are looking for. And as a consequence, we have started broadening out our portfolio of qualifications. And I'm sure there'll be more to come.
And with these qualifications, there is a clear focus on providing career-ready skills. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. So they're not apprenticeships, let's make that clear. But they are very much devised and developed with the relevant sector in mind. We use sector subject specialists to make sure that the qualification is devised accurately to reflect that particular sector or industry. And all our qualifications are designed really to make sure that students, if they're actually in that workplace already, are developing their knowledge and skills, or if they're thinking about starting out in that sector, that they've got a good foundation with which to go forward in their interested career pathway.
That's great because that really, truly sets learners for success in their career progression, allowing them to stand out with employers. And
Yeah.
actually, while we're on the discussion of progressions, could you also maybe just describe the progression routes available for OTHM learners? What were they, what's expected for the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So most of our qualifications have got a progression pathway. So you can actually start at a level 3 foundation and then do level 4, 5, which is equivalent level of study to a first year and second year of a bachelor degree. It's not the same as a bachelor degree, but it's a level of study that's equivalent. Then go on to level 6 and then go off, continue at level 7, which, as I said earlier, is the equivalent level of study of a postgraduate diploma. And at any point, you can stop off, go away, either go to a university to complete your bachelor degree in the case of a level 4, 5, or just to develop your career a little bit further. And then if you wanted to continue your OTHM studies with a level 7, which then can lead you on to do a top up to a master's degree. And we're very, very proud of the fact that our qualifications are very widely accepted by UK universities and actually universities elsewhere. So we have some samples of those universities on our website. And those universities have said, yes, we have looked at the OTHM qualification. We've accepted that it is actually a valuable contribution to, for example, a bachelor degree or a master's degree in that subject. And we will accept it as part of our entry requirements into that degree. So the opportunities for academic progression are there, but equally the opportunities using your OTHM qualification just to grow your own career as you see fit as well.
So just to clarify, in terms of the UK university progression route, so that is obviously depending on what OTHM qualification they have gained.
That's right. That's right. So the universities will have a look at our qualification. In fact, very often they are developed in conjunction with the university because, as I said earlier, we always go to the experts when we're developing a new qualification or updating an existing qualification. And then they will have a look at it, say, yeah, this makes sense to us. It reflects perhaps our year 1 and 2 of a bachelor degree or the first part of a master's degree. So we're happy to take it as part of our entry requirements for our bachelor degree or master's degree.
That's fantastic. So now we've discussed kind of the impact of OTHM qualifications for our learners. Can you tell us a little bit more about how our qualifications can be delivered by centres?
So, as I said earlier, we don't deliver our own qualifications. We look after the standards and the quality. So, those centres that would like to offer our qualifications, we welcome applications from anywhere in the world. We've got a large international footprint. All they need to do is to make an inquiry to us, and then we will support them through an accreditation process. And that accreditation process really checks that they've got the right expertise to teach the qualification that they want to offer, that they've got the right resources so that we are confident that students are getting a good learning experience, and that they can ensure that the assessments, that word assessment has to come in there somewhere, are properly supported so that the student journey through that qualification is a successful one, and can be managed in a positive way for a successful outcome for the student. But we do support our centres very much in that accreditation process. We give them lots of feedback. If we think there's still things that they need to do, then we'll explain that and support them to help them to achieve that.
And are the qualifications themselves almost they can be designed for flexibility in learning?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We don't prescribe how you teach them, whether you teach them full-time over a year or part-time or whatever. That's entirely down to each centre in terms of how they choose to program it. It could be part-time, it could be full-time, it could be online, it could be face-to-face, it could be a mixture of all of that. So we don't prescribe that. That's entirely at the discretion of the centre, because they know their students, they know their local, how they want to operate, and we just let them do that. We're happy to discuss it with them, but we are very much ones for flexibility.
Perfect. And for you personally, what do you think flexibility in learning, why is that so important in today's world as well?
Yeah, another good question, Tom. I think flexibility in learning is pretty critical. We all lead very busy lives. Um, we may already be very much active in our careers. Um, we may have lots of different competing things going on that take our time up, but yet we still want to progress our studies. So I think to be able to flex learning and do it to suit your own needs are quite important. If it's too rigid, a student might want to do that course, but the structure and rigidity make it difficult for them to access it. And OTHM is all about access and managing and creating lots and lots of opportunities for students. And we want to create as many ways in which students can access our qualifications and achieve their studies without putting too many barriers in the way.
That's wonderful. And just as we start to slowly wrap up this episode, can you give us a sense of what OTHM qualification holders can do next in their careers? Obviously, we know it's so clear that OTHM prides itself in providing qualifications that focus on gaining career-ready skills for learners. So it'd just be good to have a bit more insight into what they can expect, later in their career. What can they expect from that?
It's interesting, we do hear from past students who've achieved an OTHM qualification or more than one OTHM qualification. And what we hear is how far they've travelled in their careers. Some of them will have gone on to continue their academic study and have done PhDs and be teaching in, very laudable universities. Others will have climbed the career ladder and are at middle management and senior management level and even corporate level. And they all are happy to come back and tell us, look, I did this OTHM qualification back then, and this is where I'm at now. And now I'm actually encouraging other people to do qualifications, whether it's an OTHM one or not. I can't keep everyone. But what we're really trying to do is we're really saying, look, education is important. Staying at the head of the game in terms of understanding the changes and the innovations in your sector are important. OTHM can be a really important contributor to that. But whatever you're going to do, if you've got a good OTHM qualification, and if you want to come back to do more, then we're happy to welcome you. And we know that we're helping you in your career path. And that is testament to the fact that these ex-students of ours, you might call them alumni, do come back and tell us where they're at. And it's exciting to hear.
Yeah, that's really, really wonderful to hear. So just got a couple more questions just to wrap this up. So on note of that, what kind of impact do you hope OTHM will have globally over the next few years?
We have a big global footprint, and we're very proud of that. We're in 60, 70 countries around the world in one form or another. And I think that kind of just shows the travelability and the global nature of our qualifications. I can see that continuing. We are, Britain might be a small country, but we're in this giant global opportunity. And more students are traveling, we're traveling. It's become a smaller world. So for our qualifications to be offered around the world, I think really helps students with their own plans. We know that students often have started studying or completed a qualification in one country and offer it up in another country as part of their continued career progression or even their personal journey, for example, if they're relocating to another country. So I think the global nature of our qualifications really helps students or prospective students to think about how their global footprint and imprint around the world.
That's really great to hear. And one final question for you. So what would be one thing you'd want listeners to remember about OTHM?
Oh gosh. I don't think I can say
Put you
one
on the
thing.
spot there.
I think that we're flexible, we're affordable, and I think our standards in our qualifications are probably the key features that ensure that students and centres and the worldwide really have confidence in our qualifications. So I think it boils down to having confidence in our qualifications, that they do what they say and that they have got longevity, I think. And we're nice people as well.
That's a really great note to end on. So, well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for Patricia for joining us and providing us more insight into OTHM.
You're very, very welcome. It's been a pleasure.
And if you like this episode, please make sure to subscribe and like our content. If you have any requests or specific topics you'd like us to cover over the next few episodes, please also reach out to us on our socials at OTHM Qualifications. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.
All the best, everyone.